All right. So my other video that I did earlier, uh, it wouldn't upload. The processing error, or whatnot. So I'm trying to go live and see what that does for it. So this is gonna be a little bit shorter video, but I will add some questions for it. Just kind of reviewing Unit 8. We have prisms, and this is a rectangular prism. Remember, there's a front and the back. And there was also a formula we talked about. Those is Euler's formula. So edges plus 2 equals faces plus vertices. Remember, the edges are the line segments of a prism or a pyramid or whatnot. I'm getting some glare off here. Let me turn the TV off real quick. So, um, with that, we have the edges, we have the faces, we have the vertices. Remember, faces are the flat two-dimensional sides of this. Okay, so those are the faces, flat sides. The vertices right here. All right, so we have the faces, the vertices are the points, the edges are these. So we can use Euler formula. You'll see that on Thursday quizzes. You'll have a quizzes with that, and it will be in there. So this has how many faces. Faces and vertices are the easier ones to do. Let's see here. I don't know if I can chat or anything like that. But anyways, so we have 6 faces on this. 2 on the prisms, the parallel bases, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 faces. Vertices, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. So a total of 8. So we're going to use formula. This face plus vertices is 14. So edges plus 2 will give us that. So 12 plus 2 is going to be the number of edges we have on that one. So same thing with any type of figure here. So we do pyramid. A pyramid, square pyramid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 faces on it, and 5 face on the bottom has 1 base. So we have 5 faces plus the vertices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So what plus 2 gives us 10, which should be 8. So 8 edges, which this does have 8 edges. So I'm going to be using that tomorrow. The Euler's formula, just to remind you about that. Also in this section is cross sections. We're cross sections of figures. We only do 2 things in 7th grade, and that is a vertical or perpendicular to the base cut, or we do a horizontal or parallel to the base cut. So you have to be careful with that. Only vertical or horizontal. If we cut something that is, like, say, a cylinder, cut it horizontally, you're going to get a circle. Remember, anytime you cut horizontally, you're going to get the image that's on the bottom. Okay, so whatever the base is, when you cut something horizontal or parallel to the base, that's what you're going to get. Let me take my glasses off. Just get rid of the glasses. I can't stand seeing the glare from my glasses on there. If you cut it vertically, we're going to get a rectangle here. We cut that vertically. You have to be careful, though, with like vertical cuts. So horizontal cut on like a pyramid, you're going to get a square in the base. If you cut this vertically through the apex, remember you cut it vertically through the apex, you're going to get a triangle. However, you don't always have to go through the apex. So if you cut vertically through this, you're going to end up getting a trapezoid. So you're going to end up getting a trapezoid if you cut this vertically right here. You can still get it. You can even if you cut it vertically or perpendicular to the base right here, you can get a triangle. So that would be a triangle there. But you can get a trapezoid. That's possible. So that you have to be mindful of that. That is not always going to be through the apex on like a triangle. However, we do not do diagonals. We don't do any diagonal cuts in 7th grade. So we're not worried about that as far as diagonal cuts. Just horizontal, parallel to the base, or vertical, perpendicular to base. So those cross sections. Last thing I want to touch on is volume. Now, surface area, you watch an Ed puzzle on Monday on surface area. And if you're watching, yeah, and thank you for the like. I don't know who, I can't tell. It won't show me exactly who is in my room or lobby, but how you doing, guys? I hope it's going well. Um, but well, I just lost some of my train of thought. But volume is something we hadn't touched on. You guys did surface area on Monday. I'm not really going to go over that right now. So we are just going to talk about volume. Volumes you guys done really great on. So I'm not too worried about like everything else. Surface area. If you're struggling with surface area, keep on trying, keep on working on it. Look back at the videos, um, look at your notes, look over those things. It's difficult, period. And make sure you're studying and look at your flip book that I gave to you guys on Friday, the day before you left for this break, because if if you feel struggling with that surface area, especially with the triangle prisms, don't feel bad because trust me, over how many years I've been doing this, surface area is always a problem for students. Um, Eighth graders, it used to be in eighth grade, and eighth grade still struggled on it. They did, and being a seventh grader and struggling on it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but we'll get through it, and we'll be all right. So, but volume, remember, volume is always in 3 dimensions. So if we have a rectangular prism, nice little rectangular prism, let's say it's 10 by 8 by 12, and whatever is inches in this case. And remember, it's just inches, feet cubed, or whatever, yards, doesn't matter. Uh, we're doing 3 dimensions. We're finding how many cubes are inside something. Area is by squares because you're only doing 2 dimensions. Here, that's a really horrible drawing, but we're doing 3 dimensions, length times width times height. Okay, so we do length times width times height. And so our length is 10 times 8 times 12. And so we get 80. 80 times 12 is going to be what's 800, 960 inches cubed. And remember, that's why we say when we say that three, we don't say the third power, we say cubed. We say cubed. And that's why when something is squared, it's to the second power. And squaring something is to square it anyways, so it's the second power. Um, but we're saying squares because we're how many square is for area. But in volume, it's cubes. How many cubes fit inside that? Remember, a triangle prism, it's just half of this. So we get a triangle prism, we get half of that. And so the length, width, and height is still the same, but they always try to trick you. They always try to trick you. They are going to put something on the hypotenuse here of this triangle, and they're going to put in, let's say, 14 inches, and they're going to see whether you do length times width times height divided by 2. And remember, that's why it's important. That's why Mr. Kramer always says the height, when we do the right triangle, the height has to be the actual height. Right? You can have a 20-foot ladder laid against a house and only be 15 feet high. Okay. It's not 20 feet high if you're at the 15 mark up on the wall. You're only 15 feet high. However, if you fall down, good luck. Okay. So it's not going to be very good. Length times width times height divided by 2. So in this case, this one would be 480 inches cubed. Things going to fall down here. So you got to make sure you find the actual height of the triangle prism. And one more triangle prism. And I'll be putting this into an Edpuzzle. And I'll add some questions to it, some general questions, because on Thursday you'll be doing your quizzes. And guys, it's more about just you learning and attempting the material and reviewing our material. You're going to learn it if you put work into it and just try your best. Okay, so it's definitely, this is different. This is something new to all of us, but do your best on it. So the tent prism, like I like to call it. Okay, so we have that 90-degree angle here. So let's say we have 8 by 10. They love to put every information in here because generally these are 2-part questions. They'll give you a surface area problem and a volume problem with the same one. Okay, so the state loves to do that. And let's say we have, let's say it's 9 inches here, 9 inches here. Let's just do all these in inches. And let's say this height is, I don't know, 6 inches. So whatever. But they love to give you more than enough information to get the volume of this. So length, width, and remember, it has to be the actual height of the figure. this 9 slant height is not what we want on this one. So the slant height is not what we want. We want the height there. So length times width times height divided by 2. And so we get 8 times 10 times 6. And so 8 and then divided by 2. So 8 times 10 is 80. 80 times 6 is 480. 480 divided by 2 is 240 inches cubed. Okay. So 240 inches cubed is what we have there. Guys, stay safe. To stay away from people and let's not get sick. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, there'll be some questions on this. Make sure you answer those. Bye.